So this is how you're going to get from clarity to execution and results in just 30 days. Let's get it. We're going to talk about every single thing you need to do to end this year well. Depending on when you're watching this, if you're watching this in January, you can also start the new year well with this strategy. If you're watching it at the end of a new month, you can start the new month well. Regardless of when you're watching this, everything I'm going to tell you is everything you would need to do to lock in and see results. So let's just jump straight in. Let's not talk too much. All right. So the first thing you need to do when you're trying to get from clarity to execution and results is prioritization, right? And whenever I say this, people think that I'm trying to say, oh, there are some aspects of your life that are not important. I'm sure every aspect of your life matters. I'm sure every single thing that you're doing and all your responsibilities and obligation, they mean a lot to you. However, you can't do every single thing at the same time at the same level of quality. It's not possible. So there are just some seasons where you might just have to drop some things temporarily to focus on some other things that require more attention and that might be more important at the moment. Okay, so let's just get that out of the way, that there needs to be like some crazy level prioritization, and what that basically means is focus. So for me in this season, I'm focusing more on my job, my work, but also my business, right? So I know that my priorities are those two things, business and work. I know that those are my priorities. So what does that mean? That means that in a day, I do the one that I can you know, get done immediately with, or cross off my list immediately, and then I do the next one immediately after. But I'm focused more on that thing that I'm supposed to be doing that matters the most in this season. The reason that you're burning out, that you're getting stressed, is because you're accruing the same level of importance to every single thing in your life. And if you were to do that consistently for a long period of time, you're going to do everything in a subpar manner, meaning nothing you do will be excellent and you will still feel stressed and burnt out. So prioritization is the key when you're trying to lock in for 30 days. 30 days is such a short amount of time that you cannot focus on 1,000 things in just 30 days. Do you understand? Like, it's too short for you to give so much time and energy and attention to so many things. You would have to just focus on just one simple thing, maximum two or three, and that is about it. So I just want to encourage you, you're going to enter into the month of December with laser focus. You're going to tell yourself, do you know what? I think that out of every single thing that I have to do, which you should probably write down, these are the things, the responsibilities I have, write them all down, and then look at that list. Out of every single thing that I'm supposed to do, what are the top three things that matter the most in this season? And then you break it down. Once you've broken it down, you can look at it and now say, okay, for today, this or for this month, these are the things that I'm just going to give my time and energy and attention to. Now, that is the broad overview. When it comes to prioritization, you're looking at the broad overview. But the truth is, you can't focus on so many different things per day. So when you're done with the broad overview, you then have to focus on the micro tasks per day. The truth is, some things are going to be important today and they're not going to be important tomorrow. I repeat, some things are going to be important today and they're not going to be important tomorrow. So even when you have your broad prioritization strategy, you need to also prioritize day by day. So, for example, let's say it's my husband's birthday today, right? I would have to prioritize that birthday, right? Because of the relationship that is important to you. Okay, let's say, for example, you have a massive exam today. That exam is a priority over your job, your business, or whatever else that you will typically spend time doing. So you need to also prioritize per day. And now people might wonder, how do I know what to prioritize per day? That is where the biggest strategy comes into play. And what is that strategy? Prayer. Yes, guys, I will be lying to you if I did not tell you that you need divine, like divine how do I put it? You need God to help you focus on what matters the most. Because God sees the end from the beginning. God sees the future from the past and sees the past from the future. So God knows everything. He knows what matters the most in this season. He knows what is most important, and He knows what would matter the most in the next season if you were to take action on that thing now. Now, there's always that trick of the devil that, oh, let's just do this, let's just do that. But when you involve God in your day-to-day task, what that happens is God tells you, oh, for today, focus on this. Oh, for tomorrow, focus on this. Oh, for this day, focus on this. And just by listening to God and by obeying Him and focusing on that thing that He wants you to focus on per day, you would find out that you are not as overwhelmed or as stressed because He's only making you focus on the things that are so important. He's only turning your focus to the things that actually are going to have, any kind of consequence in the nearest future. The truth is, you can try your best to prioritize, but it's only the God that can see the end from the beginning that can tell you what is truly important in this season and what truly matters the most in this season and what you should focus on the most in this season. So to try and think that you can figure that out by your strength is where a lot of people get deceived, because you can pour your time and energy and resources and attention into something and then find out that it ended up being a waste of time. So that is the first thing, or the first major thing I would say: prioritization on the grand scale, on the micro scale, that's the day-to-day scale, and then also involving God in that prioritization strategy where you're asking God, what do I focus on today? Now, I'm going to use this to just invite you guys to my 30-day prayer challenge. It's in December. It also holds in April and in August, if I'm not mistaken. So, but yes, it's for 30 days. So, for when you're watching this video, you can just click on all the links across my page, and you're going to see where you can get your ticket to the 30-day prayer challenge. It's free, and you'll be able to join in and lock in, meaning that way you're praying every day, you're making declarations every day, and as a result, you would naturally get clarity. And not just get clarity, in addition to getting clarity, you would know what to focus on every single day for those 30 days. So if you're one of those people that you've been struggling with execution, you've been struggling with results, you've been struggling with clarity, then I would encourage you to join the prayer challenge. Like I said, it's just 30 days, okay? And it holds in December, April, and August. The link to get the tickets is going to be in the description box below, in the pinned comments below, and also on my page, the bio of my page, the about you section of my page. So go there, click, get your tickets. It's free, like I said, and it's for 30 days. You pray for 30 days, get all the clarity that you need to execute and take action. All right. So the next thing I want to ask you is, when it comes to getting clarity and then executing and getting results, you also need to know the kind of executor you are. Like, what kind of executor am I? Am I the kind of person that, in fact, I actually divide it into three categories. There is the creative executor, there is the structured executor, and there is the balanced executor. I'm going to say it again. There are three types of executor. And if you want to go from clarity to execution and results in just 30 days, you need to know the kind of executor you are. Are you the structured executor, the balanced executor, or the creative executor? For me, I would consider myself a balanced executor, simply because I balance structure and creativity. So if you're someone that you are a structured executor, what that basically means is that you're the kind of person that you execute based on a clear plan of action, meaning you need to know this and this and this, and once you have that in mind, you start taking action, and that way you it helps you execute with ease, because you have like a point A to point B to point C plan. That's the structured executor. Now, the problem with being a structured executor is that you're going to find out that you struggle with deviating off the script. And if you remember, the first thing I said is praying. And some days you might wake up and you might be praying, and God will tell you, hey, focus on this instead. But if you're someone that is just focused on following the script, it will be very hard for you to pivot when God says you should pivot. And that will leave you behind a lot of times. That will leave you in a very weird situation. So that is something that you need to take into consideration if you're a structured executor. You need to find a way to know that, okay, this is my strength, yes, but it's also my weakness, where I have to find a way to ensure that I am not prevented from listening to God and following Him just because I have my clear plan of action. And then you have the creative executors. The creative executors, these are people that you're in la la land, like you're so creative that sometimes it's even difficult to take action. For the structured executors, they might struggle to even start because of perfectionism. They might struggle with perfectionism a lot. But for the creative executors, they might start, but they might struggle to finish because they're always changing the plan. They're always looking for something new, always looking for something exciting. And so when you find out that you're a creative executor, you know that, oh, yes, your strength is that you're creative, you're innovative, you bring in fresh ideas and new ideas. But you would also find out that as a creative executor, you're someone that you may struggle a little bit with seeing your tasks through to the end, with finishing what you started. You might struggle with, thinking that just because there isn't any new information, then all of a sudden something is wrong. When you're a creative executor, you're going to struggle a lot with wanting to always change things up, and that will prevent you from finishing what you start because you're just so excited about new things, new instructions. Oh God, what do you have for me today? Oh God, what do you have for me today? And sometimes God is looking at you like, but I already gave you an instruction yesterday. What about that? Why are we not doing that? So if you're a creative executor, you want to be very, 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 very attentive to when you're searching for new and exciting and innovative things instead of focusing on the last instruction that God gave you, especially if you've not consistently done that over a period of time. So if you're a creative executor, this is so, 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 so important. This is so important. All right. The third thing you need to take into consideration is if you're a balanced executor. If you're a balanced executor, good for you. You have the best of both worlds. You're both creative and structured. You have your plan of action, but you also know when to deviate based on God's instruction. However, your biggest struggle might be that you also struggle with the downsides of both categories, meaning you also struggle with wanting to focus on new things, and at the same time you struggle with starting because of perfectionism. So not only do you have both their strengths, but you might also find out that you struggle with both their weaknesses. Okay, so even though you are a balanced executor and you have the best of both worlds, you have to be very careful of not leaning towards the downsides of both executors. So now, regardless of which execution strategy that you decide to flow with, or that comes naturally for you, I will always encourage you that when you know what you are or the kind of executor you are, then you will now know how to, leverage your strengths and minimize your weaknesses. The biggest hack I will give you when you're going from clarity to execution and results, minus prioritization and prayer, is accountability. When you have figured out what kind of executor you are, you want to make sure that you're combating your weaknesses by getting accountability. There is no way around it. Accountability can look very different for many people. So for you, it might be that you have a friend keeping you accountable. For another person, it might be that they get a coach, they get the help of a coach. For me, I have gotten accountability in so many different ways. The first way that I will freely tell you about now was when I went on a challenge. I go on challenges as an accountability strategy. Whenever I go on challenges, it's mostly public and it's mostly online. So now I'm on these public challenges and everybody is seeing that, oh, Benny said she's going to do this for 30 days. Guess what? They're following you on your journey and you don't want to disappoint people. You don't want people to think, hey, she said she was going to do this and she did not do this. So now you have no choice than to show up. So public accountability is so important because that way you wouldn't want to subject yourself to humiliation and ridicule. So you have no choice than to show up for the things that you said you were going to do. Okay, so that is a very, 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 very massive strategy, regardless of which executor you find yourself to be. Accountability. So getting accountability by creating content on what you plan on doing, getting people in the loop, that will prevent you from not sticking with your plan. Another way to ensure that you're getting accountability is, like I said, you could get the help of a friend, somebody that you know will hold you to your promises and to your words, your family member, your friend, your loved one, someone. And it might be free, but as long as this is somebody that you're sort of afraid of disappointing, it is going to help motivate you to stick to that thing that you said you were going to do. So accountability in the sense of getting a friend matters, but the friend has to be someone that you're going to be scared of disappointing. If it's just a random person that you know that if you disappoint them, they don't even care, then you can see how hard it will be for them to keep you accountable. In fact, some people have even taken that extra mile to tell the person that they're accountability partner that, hey, I want you to be my accountability partner, and I'm going to give you so and so amount of money so that if I fall off the wagon, you keep the money. So they're not just getting someone else to help them, but they're also putting their money at stake, something that they're scared of losing. So now, if you're not able to keep that promise that you made, then this person has to keep the money, and you are like in the situation where you're like, you don't want to lose that money, so you have no choice than to show up for yourself. So that is another way to, stay accountable. So I've spoken about public accountability by putting out content. I've spoken about private accountability by getting a friend's help and even committing money to the process. There's also the angle of getting paid help. Guys, I cannot overestimate the importance of paid help. And to be honest, the higher you are paying, the better for you, because it still goes back to my previous point where if you commit so much money and you are scared of losing it, it's a very weird motivator where you're like, I just have to show up so that I don't lose this money. In fact, sometimes depending on the amount of money you invest, from the moment you make that investment, you're like, I'm going to make this money back, I can't lose this money. So naturally, if it's something that you're really genuinely scared of losing, you would find that that is enough to keep you going. That is enough to motivate you to take action. So, yes, paid help is so important. Get a coach, an accountability coach, someone that you know that is not struggling with the thing that you're struggling with. So, this person is sort of has things together in this area or has made some level of progress compared to you in this area, and you're paying for them to basically hold you accountable to your goals and to those things that you said that you're going to do. And it's so on heavily underestimated. Like, people do not realize how important it is. And every single thing that's, I'm telling you to do, getting friends to keep you accountable, or creating content, especially like the first one and the third one, I have personally done it. I've gotten a coach. In fact, I personally have a coach right now, someone that keeps me accountable, that holds me to my promises and my words. Is so important, especially when you get the help of like a Christian coach, because not only are they holding you accountable to who you really are in Christ, but then they are also praying for you. They are also praying for you. They are keeping you in their prayers, like, God, help this person to keep their promises, help this person to stay on track. And that is way more than really any coach can even possibly give you. That is more important than whatever they could do. Like they can chase you from morning till night, but ultimately, if they can pray for you and then God is like strengthening you and encouraging you and helping you, that is the biggest way that they can help you and the most significant help you can get. So, a personal example is when I was praying for my clients, right, for my coaching program, Grace Walk Challenge. And as I was praying for them, God said, point them to me and I'll point them to the task. You point them to me and I will help them to be consistent. And then a client of mine reached out to me that, wow, Benny, I noticed that anytime I want to, fall off the wagon, God will tell me, no, put that content out. No, reach out to the group chat, do this, do that. So basically, I'm praying for them, and God is literally the one prompting them to take action. So it's not just getting just any kind of paid help, but also getting the paid help from people that align with the values that you also have will be very important. Very, very important. Very, very important. The coach I'm working with is a Christian coach because I know that they will get me. They will understand my values. They would understand that, okay, sometimes God will tell you to do this thing that might be different from what someone else will tell you to do. And then they would understand that that instruction from God supersedes anything else. So it is so, 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 so important to have paid help, and to have paid help from someone that is in line with your values. All right, so we've spoken about a lot today. We've spoken about the importance of prioritization, the types of executors, and how you can balance the weaknesses of each execution prototype with the accountability structure. We've spoken about the different ways that you can get accountability. We've spoken about getting paid help. We've spoken about the free ways you can get accountability. And yeah, I can go on and on talking about this, but if you want to see results in 30 days, it starts with prayer. It starts with God, who sees the end from the beginning and who you can speak to, and He will tell you what to focus on. He will send the help that you need, and He will encourage you and strengthen you to actually to take the actions necessary to see the results that you actually want. 30 days is not too short to see transformation, but it's also not too long for you to spend so much time focusing on so many distractions that you miss the point. So, once again, I will invite you to my 30-day prayer challenge, the Reset Fast Prayer Challenge. The links are going to be everywhere. Check it out. And very importantly, get your tickets. It's in December, April, and August, and it's for 30 days. So, get your tickets, is free, and I look forward to seeing you there. Once again, thank you for joining. This is the time to lock in, end the year well, end the year well. I'm rooting for you. If you don't know who I am, my name is Benny. I am a kingdom execution coach. I basically help Christians execute their God given businesses or business ideas, ministry assignments, and projects with ease. So, that being said, if it's something you're interested in, feel free to join my prayer challenges, my programs. They're literally, the links are in my description page, bio page, whatever. And yeah, follow me on Instagram if you want to get to, talk to me personally, DM me, whatever the case may be. That being said, follow for more content like this, subscribe, and I look forward to seeing you same time next week, hopefully. Bye, guys.